Good morning. Welcome to the May 23rd, 2024 meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District Board of Directors. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Chair Aquino.
Here.
Director Daniels.
Here.
Director Desmond.
Here.
Director Frost.
Here.
Director Guetta. Director Hume. Chair Kennedy.
Here.
Director Maple.
Here.
Director Papineau.
Here.
Director Robles. Director Cerna. Director Terry. Director Thao. Director Vang. We have quorum.
Thank you. Will you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would the clerk please read the announcement?
Members of the public are encouraged to observe the meeting in real time at metro14live.saccounty.gov, participate in person via Zoom video or teleconference line, and by submitting written comments to boardclerk@airquality.org. Comments will be delivered to the Board of Directors. Public comments regarding matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Directors will be acknowledged by the chairperson, distributed to the Board of Directors, and included in the record. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is cablecast live without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast Consolidated Communications and AT&T UVerse cable system. This meeting is being closed captioned and will be live streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will be repeated on Saturday, May 25th, 2024 at 2 p.m. on Channel 14.
Thank you, and let the record reflect that Vice Chair Aquino is participating via Zoom, and that takes us to our consent calendar, where we have items 1 through 7. Are there any members of the board that have any questions or comments or like to pull anything from consent at this time? Okay, we have a motion from Director Desmond, not Supervisor, and Director Tao. Is there any member of the public that would like to comment on an item that's on consent? Okay. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Chair Aquino.
Aye.
Director Daniels.
Aye.
Director Desmond. Director Frost.
Aye.
Director Guetta. Director Hume. Chair Kennedy.
Aye.
Director Maple.
Aye.
Director Papineau. Director Robles. Director Cerna. Director Terry. Director Thao. Director Vang. Consent passes.
Thank you. Members, if you'd please, when we vote, please make sure your mic is on so that the clerk can hear it as she is not in chambers. Please, the next item, please.
The next item on the agenda is public hearing item number 8. Fiscal year 2024 to 2025 proposed budget and fee schedule. And I have Patty Kepner in chambers to give a presentation.
Good morning. I got it.
Just waiting for the presentation.
Okay.
Good morning, Chair Kennedy and members of the board. My name is Patty Kepner. I'm the controller for the district, and today I'll be presenting a summary of the fiscal year 2024-2025 proposed budget and fee schedule. This is the second of the 2 required public hearings to approve our budget. Next slide, please. To give you a recap, last month in April, I did a presentation to the board that was in detail our budget for fiscal year 24-25. We showed the budget for all 3 funds, the assumptions, and reviewed our 5-year forecast, the proposed fee schedule, and went through that presentation. And our budget and fee schedule has been posted for 60 days now on our website as required for public comment. And today we're recommending the board approve the fiscal year 24-25 budget and fee schedule. Next slide, please. Here's a summary of our our budget for next year, and just to orient you to the slide, the first column is the fund. We have 3 funds, and then you'll see the revenues, the expenditures, the source or use of fund balance, and then the projected fund balance, which would be the ending fund balance at the end of the year. So just to start with a quick summary, the general fund has most of our operating expenses. So we've got salary, wages, capital, professional consultants, expenditures, everything it takes to run the projects and programs of the district. And in that fund, we have $26.9 million of revenue projected, $30 million of expenses. That results in a use of fund balance of about $3.1 million. And just as a reminder, we have our AB 617 program is expanding starting next year. We have a 2-year grant, and that the funding for that particular 2-year grant was requested in advance, and we received it this year. So it's in fund balance, and then we'll spend about $2.5 million of it next year, and that's what you're seeing the majority of the fund balance use there. And then the following year, in fiscal year 25-26, we'll have the second year funding for the project coming out of fund balance. And that leaves us at the end of next year with $24.4 million of fund balance in the general fund. Building fund, break-even fund. You can see there that revenues equal expenditures, and it's about $5.6 million of fund balance at the end of the year. And then finally, the special revenue fund that houses our incentives. We have about $31 million there, about $31 million of revenues, $36.5 million of expenditures. And so we're using $5.5 million of fund balance, which is exactly what we want to do, is get those incentives out to the public. So that leaves a fund balance there of about $86.1 million. So in summary, we have $59 million of revenues, 67.6 of expenditures. We'll use $8.6 million of fund balance, and then that'll leave us with $116 million of projected fund balance at the end of next year. Next slide, please. So speaking of fund balance, this is our trend. Just wanted to point out a couple things. On this slide, the green line is the special revenue fund, the blue is our general fund, and the red is our proprietary fund or the building fund. And just wanted to point out that for the special revenue fund for 23-24, you'll see a spike there up to $92 million in the fund balance, and that's because we've done a request for advanced funding on several of our grants, plus there's another grant for a hydrogen locomotive project in there as well that will receive the funds this year in 23-24 and then spend that going forward. Other than that, our general fund and the building fund they're well above our required fund balance of 120 days of expenditures. So we have a lot of safety valve there in that fund balance for those 2 funds. Next slide, please. That brings us to our fee schedule. As you know, we adjust our fees annually based on a stated index, and the proposal for 24-25 is an increase of 4.17%, and that would be effective July 1, 2024. Next slide, please. So in summary, the district has proposed a balanced budget that will fund the projects and programs that we have on the slate for next year and create a lot of opportunities for the district. And our reserves are more than adequate to fund and cover the proposed deficit for fiscal year 24-25. Next slide, please. The recommendation for today is to open and close the public hearing on the fiscal year 24-25 proposed budget and fee schedule, adopt a resolution approving the following: the fiscal year 24-25 district budget effective July 1, 2024, and the fiscal year 24-25 fee schedule that includes a 4.175 CPI adjustment effective also July 1, 2024. Next slide, please. That concludes my presentation. I appreciate your attention today and happy to take any questions you may have.
Any questions from the board before we open the public hearing? Hearing none, I will say, these are challenging times for air districts with all of the unfunded mandates that continually come at us. So this is an amazing budget. So thank you very much for all your hard work.
You're welcome.
Okay, with that, I will open up the public hearing. Is there any member of the public that would like to address the board of this item at this time? Hearing and seeing none, I will close the public hearing and entertain a motion.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Director Frost and a second by Director Desmond. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Vice Chair Aquino,
Aye.
Director Daniels,
Aye.
Director Desmond,
Aye.
Director Frost,
Aye.
Director Guetta, Director Hume,
Aye.
Chair Kennedy,
Aye.
Director Maple,
Aye.
Director Papineau,
Aye.
Director Robles, Director Cerna, Director Terry, Director Thau,
Aye.
Director Vang. Item number 8 passes.
Thank you. Next item, please.
The next item on the discussion calendar, item number 9, Carl Moyer Program History, 25th Year Anniversary and Current Solicitation. And I have Mike Nuremberg in chambers to begin the presentation.
Morning, Mike.
Morning, Board. Slide to come up. Good morning. Over the next few minutes, I just wanted to share with you a little bit about about the Dr. Carl Moyer and the legacy that he left behind. I'm going to probably keep this a little bit even on I'm going to try not to be quite so strict and be a little more on the informal side as we talk a little bit about the history of how the Moyer program began and just really a celebration of really what's happened here over the last 25 years and how he really got things started. So with that in mind, let's go to the next slide. And we'll go over the next slide as well. Okay, so I've been here for 23 years now. My name is Mike Nuremberg, Program Supervisor with the Transportation and Climate Change Division. And I've been here for 23 years now with the Air District and 20 years here as a supervisor as well, all within the program here. When I started here as an engineer, I actually worked with the Moyer Year 3 program, and I've been working with it all the years forward. I've even touched Moyer Years 1 and 2 because when I first started here, I was actually the first person to do those dreaded annual usage surveys, which got sent out to our participants from years 1 and 2, and even sent in some reports to A or B for those respective years. So I'm probably the closest thing here at the Air District at this point for having touched Moyer through all these years as well. I will say that I've never actually met Dr. Moyer. He unfortunately passed away just a few years before I started here at this agency. But I did have a chance to talk to many of my colleagues at that time and hear about many fond stories about him and the legacy that he left. And he really had, he was really an advocate for clean air. He was really an inspiration and even probably a little bit ahead of his time at that point when he was working as a consultant for the Air District at that time. And definitely was promoting clean air and healthy living. And I think, back in the 90s, we had a lot of rules and regulations in for stationary sources. One of the areas, though, that we didn't have rules and regs on, and even today there's been some rules that have come in from A or B at this point, has been the mobile source category. And that's a tough category to go with when you don't have rules and regs. And he recognized that one of the areas that was contributing a major part of air pollution at that time was coming from mobile sources. And out of the mobile sources, the area that he recognized that really had a key part was diesel engines. Diesel engines are rugged, they're reliable, they're steady powerhouses. They can go on for not just years, but decades. And so we had a lot of engines even back in the 90s. You had engines that were 1950s, 1960s engines that were operating out there while they're reliable. They were polluting heavily into the environment. And businesses really had no need to even replace these engines because they were fairly cheap to just keep rebuilding and keep rerunning them versus purchasing new. Hence, that created this element of on-road, in the on-road and off-road elements, how do you get businesses to actually convert over to newer and cleaner technology? And so there was a collaboration that needed to be formed between the businesses and government in order to really try to move forward with the clean air. Hence the idea of incentives. These incentives could be used, especially at the time when they were getting towards the point of major repairs on their engines. And if you could provide enough incentives to entice that business to convert over from instead of, rebuilding their old engine, but buying new, that was the concept that came into play with incentives. And that was what really spawned this whole program with where Dr. Moyer's idea came from. And this idea actually worked very well. It created kind of a win-win situation for both government, which really couldn't regulate them, and for businesses, and it was very successful. And with this incentives, the idea was actually started here at this Air District. Dr. Moyer actually worked with our staff And I think that was one of the things back in 1996. It started off as just a little pilot program with some of our local funds. The idea worked. Businesses took advantage of it. They replaced out their old equipment. It was destroyed. They went to newer, more reliable equipment. It was more efficient for them. It was more economical for them, and it provided that new opportunity. So that's a little bit of the history that started from there. And then from this pilot program, we got spawned onto where it became a state program. And in 1999, it was started with just what would seem like a lot of money back then, $25 million. From a statewide perspective, we got $1.9 million in our first year. And, you know, everybody was thinking this was a great thing. And so we were moving forward with where we went from there. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide here. So with that history and that initial $25 million, you might think that was a big, large amount of money. We now have gone 25 years later, and as you can see, there's a lot of the data that's actually up here on the slides. There's now over $1 billion that's been invested in Moyer. Think about that. We've gone from 25 million to 1 billion. 117 million of that has actually come to our region as well. And so that, you know, from a stakeholder standpoint, I think that's a pretty good share of money that's actually coming into the Sacramento region, and a fair amount of money to when you start thinking about it from a statewide basis. We've had over 2,800 pieces of equipment. They range from ag tractors to ag engines to combines to harvesters to construction equipment like scrapers and bulldozers and backhoes. We've done locomotives. We've done all kinds of vocational type trucks. We've benefited both the small businesses and the large businesses as well. Everybody's had an opportunity to do it. We've been able to touch the transportation sector with school buses and transit buses. And even in the last 5 years or so, we've even been starting to go with the providing the supporting infrastructure to move towards the zero emission world that we are now moving into, and the low emission engines that we're going like with CNG. So it's been a transformative change over the last 25 years. And now as we go into it now, when you look at it, this as Moyer program has really served as a template for more incentive programs. You look at how it's benefiting the communities. Obviously, it's improving air quality while providing health benefits to all. But it's important to note that it's not just $1 billion in Moyer. We had over $1 billion. We had a $1 billion in goods movement that went statewide. We've now had over $1 billion in community air protection funds that have come out from a result of this. There are numerous other state programs coming from CEC and ARB and other state agencies. There's dollars coming out from the federal side as well. And this all spawned from really that little pilot program that started at this agency 30 years ago when Dr. Moyer and our staff worked together to start that pilot program. So that's partly why I wanted to celebrate, you know, that history of what's happened in the last 25 years. We went from a little pot of money to a multi-billion-dollar annual program, which is not only affecting our state, but is also affecting the nation. There are communities throughout the world that have adopted some of the policies that we are doing here today. And so I just wanted to take really a moment to pause and just say, you know, ask the question, who knew what we were starting 30 years ago when we got this program going? And the other question that I thought in my mind is, where are we going to be at 30 years from now? You look at all the things that are going on right now in our world today, and I think it's going to be a very interesting world to see what happens over the next 20, 30 years. With that, I will take a pause here and just kind of, that's just basically the short story I wanted to provide from the history here. I'm going to introduce one of my lead engineers, Oliverio Berrigan. He's been with me here for 3 years now as an engineer. A great resource for our team. He actually started his first year, though, as a Cristo Rey intern back in high school, and he actually worked in our land use planning division at that time when he started here. Went on to college, got his engineering degree, and then he actually got hired back on as an agency, and is a wonderful success story. And he's actually going to have the opportunity to see what's going on in the next 30 years as well. You know, from a career standpoint, I do not plan to be here 30 years from now, but I certainly would like to watch what's going to happen from a world standpoint. And so with that, I will say, next slide.
Before we do, thank you so much for that. It's a great refresher and a reminder of where we've come from and how we always talk about the Carl Moyer program. 9.5 years ago when I started on this board, I had to look it up because I didn't know what it was. So that's actually very helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. If you have any other questions after the presentation, we can answer more.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Good morning, Chair Kennedy and members of the board. My name is Oliverio Barragan. I'm an air quality engineer in the mobile sources section at the Air District. Part of my roles involve the development and implementation of many of our local grant incentive programs here in the Sacramento region. And I am here today to talk to you about two of those programs that are currently open, the Carl Moyer program and the Commercial Lawn and Garden program. Next slide, please. Yeah, so as Mike mentioned, the Carl Moyer program has been running for more than 25 years, but its premise has always been the same. It is a voluntary program that provides funding opportunities to private and public fleets to replace older heavy-duty diesel or gas-powered equipment with the cleanest available technologies. And so the program is run by the 36 air districts across the states that solicit, select, and monitor these air quality projects in their respective regions. And this year, our region has identified over $10 million in grant incentive funding. This funding is available to Sacramento County applicants. As usual, priority is given to projects that are located in a disadvantaged community, communities of color, and low-income communities. And then additionally, for zero-emission projects that are promoting zero emission, we are also evaluating those projects under a higher funding limit. This means that projects that are potentially switching to zero emission could have the opportunity to have a higher percentage. We also have other changes taking place this year include more stringent project requirements. We are looking for shovel-ready projects that will allow us to provide swift emission reductions to the communities while meeting our own program liquidation deadlines. So what does this mean for the applicant? The applicant will need to prove more significant project preparation in the form of permits, certifications, and site capacity documents. And of course, our team will continue to be available to answer questions and support our applicants by scheduling meetings to making sure that their proposal is ready. Next slide, please. All right, moving on to the eligible project categories for this solicitation. These photos shown on your screen are from real projects that we funded in the last year. As you can see, we have a wide range of projects from Tier 4 certified diesel tractors to zero-emission school buses and charging infrastructure. Our program has come a long way thanks to all the hard work and time invested by our staff, but especially to the communities in Sacramento that are willing to take on these innovative projects and bring them to life. And so one of our bigger programs is the school bus program that has had immense community benefits and brought attention to our region. We are proud to say that we are one of the top regions in the nation for the deployment of zero-emission school buses. There are 3 broad project categories for this solicitation. Although I don't have slides for each one, I would still like to give a quick verbal overview for each one. Starting off with the on-road project category that offers funding opportunities to replace existing heavy-duty vehicles with zero-emission or near-zero-emission trucks and buses. And so this includes school buses, micro-shuttles, refuse trucks, and much more. To be eligible, existing vehicles must be in compliance, and they must have an engine model year between 2010 and 2018. Funding is largely determined by the project's annual usage, fleet size, and surplus emission reductions. Most eligible projects can get anywhere from 40 to 70% of the project cost in grant funding. We also have the infrastructure project category that offers funding opportunities for the development of non-residential battery charging stations and hydrogen fueling stations. Please note that most large infrastructure projects require utility upgrades that must be evaluated under SMUD's Rule and Regulation 16. Consequently, we are requiring a site capacity evaluation from SMUD for this year's application process. Funding-wise, we can cover up to 60% of the project costs, which includes equipment, design and engineering, construction, and so on. The off-road project category offers funding opportunities for off-road equipment replacements, such as diesel lag tractors, industrial forklifts, and construction equipment. This category is extremely popular with our farming communities in Sacramento and is rapidly expanding as zero-emission equipment becomes more readily available. And so for this year, we are funding zero-emission projects at a higher percentage, so those projects can get up to 80% of the project cost in grant funding. Next slide, please. We have an online application format that applicants can access through our incentives webpage. Applicants can start preparing their proposals today by gathering equipment usage, ownership, and compliance documents. This includes maintenance records, vehicle registration and titles, and insurance documents. And for the infrastructure application, applicants will need to contact their local utility provider to get a site capacity evaluation and work on obtaining project cost estimates, site design documents, and proof of land ownership or a land lease agreement. The off-road category is currently open for applications. We started receiving applications back in March of this year. The on-road and infrastructure categories will be opening in the next 2 to 3 weeks. With that said, I highly encourage everyone to subscribe to our incentives email list to get updates on all these upcoming programs. Next slide, please. Okay, I'll now be shifting my focus to one of our newer programs that we launched this year, and it has had immediate success, the Zero Emission Commercial Lawn and Garden Program. Next slide, please. The Commercial Lawn and Garden Program provides funding opportunities for commercial landscapers, public agencies, and nonprofits that are operating in Sacramento County to replace their old gas or diesel lawn and garden equipment with zero-emission battery electric equipment. Qualified applicants can purchase discounted equipment from eligible dealers through a voucher process. The way this works, our district receives and reviews applications on a first-come, first-served basis and awards vouchers to eligible applicants. Applicants can then trade in their old equipment and redeem these vouchers with a participating merchant. The old equipment is then destroyed and the new equipment is purchased at a discounted price. And so we've been fortunate to partner with 11 merchants across the region to help us implement the program. These merchants are responsible for verifying that the old equipment is operational, that the old equipment is subsequently destroyed, and that the new equipment is eligible for purchase. A list of these participating merchants, along with their inventory and locations, is available on our website right now. Funding-wise, I included a table here showing the maximum funding amounts per type of equipment. These amounts can go towards purchasing extra batteries and charging cables, along with the unit itself. And for this initial solicitation, we are allocating over $1.2 million to commercial lawn and garden projects, which is substantially more than what other air districts are doing, and we are excited to see where this takes us. Next slide, please. The application itself is very streamlined and easy to fill out. Again, we are using an online application format. Applications are available in both English and Spanish. Along with the application, the applicants will need to submit photos of the existing equipment and attach a copy of their business license or Form W-9. We launched the program on April 15th of this year, and it's been a great success so far. Within the first week of launch, we were able to allocate over $300,000 to commercial lawn and garden projects. As of the beginning of this month, we have issued over 80 vouchers and retired over 80 pieces of polluting equipment from the environment and from our communities. So the program is a great success. As you can see on the chart, most landscaping businesses are taking quick advantage of the program, but we've also had several public agencies and nonprofits taking a piece of the pie. Because there is a $50,000 funding limit per applicant per funding cycle, it is not surprising to see that most applicants are prioritizing some of the larger pieces of equipment first and waiting for the next solicitation to retire some of the smaller pieces of equipment. However, that is slowly changing as we've been receiving more and more applications for handheld equipment, which lets me know that the program is rapidly gaining traction, and our team will continue to work diligently to retire these pieces of equipment. With that said, our team is already looking to develop a residential component to the program next. Depending on how this program initial wave goes, we could see a residential program in the next 6 to 8 months. So it's a very exciting time for the Air District and for the communities in Sacramento. Next slide, please. I would now like to take some time to give respect to a good friend and a cherished member of the Air District family. It is with great sadness that we announce the passing of Charlene Evelyn McGee. Charlene served the Air District for 34 years until her retirement in 2016. And during her time here, Charlene worked with many local jurisdictions, government agencies, and environmental organizations to help make our communities more walkable, more bikeable, and more breathable. Additionally, Charlene led the district's Mow Down program for many years. This lawnmower exchange program resulted in over 14,000 new electric lawnmowers and over 170 tons of emissions reduced in the Sacramento region alone, which is equivalent to retiring 7,500 passenger cars in California today. This program paved the way for the lawn and garden programs that many agencies are implementing today. I first met Charlene in 2014 when I was a Crystal Ray intern working at the Air District. Charlene was an incredible supervisor and a great mentor. Every Thursday when I would come into the office, we would sit down and talk about work, school, family, and life. I remember college admissions being a very exciting time for the both of us. She was the first person I asked for a letter of recommendation for my college applications. And when those acceptance letters started coming in, like a proud mom or a close family member, she would tell everyone about it. And you could tell how genuinely excited and happy she was for me. When I graduated from college, she was the one that encouraged me to apply to the Air District. And when I finally got the job, she was totally ecstatic and would brag about me to all her friends. The incredible thing about Charlene is that no matter how much time had passed, I always felt so comfortable and open around her. You could tell that she really loved teaching, mentoring, and connecting with the younger generation. She is truly an incredible person who has positively influenced my life. And so she will be missed greatly. And now, coming full circle, it is an honor and a privilege to continue a small part of her legacy through this lawn and garden program, which would not be what it is today without her exceptional work. And in honor of her environmental advocacy, the Air District would like to rename the Commercial Lawn and Garden Program to the Charlene McGee Memorial Lawn and Garden Program. We hope that this program will continue to have a positive impact on our communities in Sacramento, just like she would have wanted. So thank you so much for your time.
I do have some board members that have punched in, but let me say that, you know, first of all, I want to make note that you didn't refer to notes one time during that presentation.
I did not.
and you know, your career here at the district and your dedication to the district is truly a testament to the value of internship programs. So thank you and well done.
Thank you.
Director Frost.
Thank you, Chair Kennedy. First, I want to say I think it's wonderful that you're paying tribute to Charlene McGee. I think the Air District is really the only board that I know of that actually names programs after people this way, and it was so great to see put the face with the name of Carl Moyer after working on the Air District board for many years. So I'm excited about that. I just had a quick question relating to, in your presentation, you talked about site inspections and site capacity for grant funds. Do people have to qualify regarding capacity? You know, like, do they have? Is there an economic qualification also? You mentioned site capacity, and I wasn't sure I understood what that meant.
So that actually refers to the infrastructure category of the Carl Moyer program. That actually applies to any projects that are trying to install, you know, charging stations or hydrogen fueling stations. They have to go through a permitting process and also have to go through SMUD to make sure that their site has enough capacity, transformer capacity, to actually bring up the project to life.
Not so much farming equipment.
No, sorry,
Okay.
I didn't make that clarification.
I guess I had my head was on the farm equipment, but thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Director Hume, I erased somebody accidentally. Was it you, Director Daniels?
No, I just punched it.
Okay, well, there was somebody else that was on there that I erased accidentally, so please punch back in. Director Hume.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. First of all, as was mentioned, I hope that you're here in 30 years so that some board member will sit up here and go, oh, that's what the McGee Memorial Fund started. So I'm sorry to hear the loss of your mentor, and she obviously played a very important role in your life. And while we're talking about you for a moment, I'll jump ahead on my notes here and just say, Cristo Rey is such an amazing program. Congratulations to you for getting an internship, obviously in an area that was of important interest to you, but also congratulations to the district for having that full circle moment to come back and secure you as an employee. That's really how it's meant to work. And so kudos all the way around. Speaking of full circle moments, I think that it was down at Galt Arno Cemetery District that I first had an interaction with Alberto and Jaime regarding this program, and they were getting a demonstration of the electrical fleet for maintaining landscaping at the cemetery district. And so my question then is does this program, this kind of relates back a little bit, but does this program also cover the expense of converting over for batteries and chargers and the electrical infrastructure upgrades that would be needed to, obviously carrying around a can of fuel is one thing, but having a fleet of batteries to keep your equipment going all day is a different expense?
Yeah, so the voucher covers batteries as well, so that is an eligible expense. Infrastructure component, that we're still not there yet.
Okay.
That still has to be expanded by the Carl Moyer guidelines. But that's something that we've also been looking into, and I know our partners in SMUD have also been looking into as well.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's obviously a very tangible gap
It is.
that we need to figure out how
Especially
to
for
fill.
some of the larger projects that we've been
yeah.
receiving. So yeah, that's an important component.
Well, and then the other thing that would be a part of that would be clean air generators or battery storage so that if the power goes out, these people aren't, if the tree falls down during a storm and you have no power, that's when you need the chainsaw to work, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Director Daniels.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Just a great presentation. And how lucky are you to have such a story? And I think you do realize it, but I hope you do, that
Thank you,
you're extremely lucky man. And then I would just suggest after the meeting that maybe you come down and sit in Dr. Ayala's seat and just see how it feels. It may take a few years, but we can, get another chair. But
Or it might not.
Well, yeah, well, he's going to step up his game, I could tell you. So just see how it feels.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, are there any members of the public that would like to comment at this time on this item?
Director Aquino had a...
Chair Kennedy, we have Director Aquino on the line to give comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. I want to first echo many of my colleagues' comments. I never met or knew Charlene, but what a beautiful tribute you gave. And I think honoring her in that way is just a really incredible legacy. My question kind of is about the Carl Moyer program and just grant funding in general, because based on comments that were made at prior board meetings, I let our staff know about the CCAT grant application funding. And some of the feedback that I got back from our staff was that although, yes, we are going to apply for it, the vehicles cannot be counted toward the ARF, I think is the acronym, mandate from CARB. And so I'm wondering, the vehicles that could be purchased with the Carl Moyer grant, can those be counted toward the ACF, Advanced Clean Fleets electrification mandate?
So the Carl Moyer is currently just for surplus emissions reduction, so it would not count towards the ACF rule. It have to be surplus to what it's already regulated today. So yeah, it wouldn't count. I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Maybe just a quick point, Chair. The use of these public funds for voluntary programs, historically, whether it's Carl Moyer or any other program, are restricted and cannot be used for compliance. So that's the nuance in the programs, right? I mean, if you're a fleet, a municipality that is subject to state rules, you cannot use the same state funding to comply. That's the reason they put restrictions on these.
Got it. Thank you.
Any others? Okay. Any members of the public would like to address the board at this time?
Yes, we have public comment.
We have one member, Chair Kennedy. Mr. Richard Falcon is in chambers to comment.
Welcome, Mr. Falcon.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Richard Falcon. I'm a resident of Sacramento. I come to you as the organizer for United Latinos, a nonprofit CBO that focuses on civic engagement, education, and environmental justice. I am here to speak of the importance of partnerships and our partnership with the Air Quality Management District, especially when it comes to your commercial lawn and garden program, and especially how important this relationship is as we work with community to inform them of the incentives, the transitions, what it means to them. I want to just also add, like with the Emprende program and the Hispanic Chamber that you all have worked on as well, in order to provide for some of these small businesses the opportunity to get their paperwork in order so that they can apply for these incentives and take part of this. The Air Quality Management District has been doing a tremendous job in growing those partnerships. And I just wanted to go on record to let you know that we are a proud partner with them as we bring this forward. But just to give you an example, along with La Familia Counseling Center, just recently recognized as Resilience Hub for the state of California, and what a wonderful thing for our community as well, we will be holding a commercial lawn and garden information session on May 30th. We have some flyers here that we would happy to share with you, again, just to demonstrate what these partnerships can look like. We did one recent one about 2 months ago with the California Air Resource, with the Cal Air Resources Board, also about their programs for this. And we had about 50 small landscaping businesses come and learn about those incentives. We expect about 50 to 75 at our gathering on May 30th. We welcome you to come and be part of it if you would like to see how that is going to come about and what we will be providing with that information. So really, I'm just here to say thank you to the Air District. Thank you for what you all do as directors in this, because it is important for our community especially to learn about what is happening, what is going on, and to provide them the needed resources, not only for their businesses to thrive, but for their health as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Falcone. Can you give those to the clerk? And I also, we have someone punched in, but I would like to thank you for the work that you've done in AB 617 as well in the community. Director Desmond.
Just really, thank you very much, and also the flyers. I appreciate you handing those out. But also, maybe you can send a digital version of that so we can push it out in our newsletters and our social media posts. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public like to address the board at this time? Hearing and seeing none, this is a receive and file. Thank you. Fantastic staff report. Really appreciate it, and thank you, Mr. Falcone, for coming down this morning. Next item, please.
The next item on the agenda, the Air Pollution Control Officer presentation. I have Alberto Ayala in chambers to give his report.
Thank you. I guess let me start off by acknowledging the point that Director Daniels made, and to say that I absolutely agree with you. Oli has what it takes to be an APCO anytime, any day, so no harm taken. I want to share 5 points, and I'll use that to emphasize what Director Desmond just requested, and that is part of the reason we share this information with you is obviously because it's important, it's a part of the agency, but also we do want to ask for your help. I know that many of you do newsletters and have community events. So again, any place, anywhere you see a connection with some of the programs, some of the information that we have, we do want to work with you to make sure that you help us get the word out. Next slide, please. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to run to the 5 items real quick and then take questions at the end, but obviously we can change that. But this is going to go brief. So the first one is related to AB 617. You all got an email from Selena, the clerk. This is a formal letter that was submitted to the Air Resources Board requesting the formal transition of our AB 617 community, South Sacramento, Flooring, from an ambient air monitoring community to an emission reduction plan community. That is the next important phase in that state process. So you all received the letter. What we want to do is simply acknowledge that this is going to be taking place. It is already scheduled for the ARB meeting on July 25th. And now I want to acknowledge Chair Kennedy and Director Maple and Director Vang. We're going to bug you. We're going to ask you for your help and come and provide testimony at the ARB in support of the transition. It's a 2-year clock, so assuming ARB adopts the recommendation and formally recognizes South Sacramento, Florida as a SERP community, we'll have 2 years to develop an emission reduction plan. That will come back to you because you will have to approve it first before it goes to ARB. We're looking forward to this because this is really what it's all about, right? I mean, the first thing that we heard from the community was, we do not want to be monitored to death, right? I mean, if you're really here with a new state program to help us, it has to be on the emission reduction side of things. So stay tuned for that. Next slide, please. Related to the process, one of the things that the community steering committee has asked, and we have seen this in other communities, South Sacramento is one of 19 formally adopted statewide communities. And what we're going to organize on the 24th is a bus tour of the community. And we're going to be looking at the businesses that are permitted by us that are sources of air pollution. Pretty obvious. The community wants to see what these sources of emissions, we call them stationary sources, but that is such an abstract thing. They want to see what the businesses are. And we're in the process of planning. We're going to send you an invitation because obviously these are going to be your constituents that are going to be looking at these sources. And what we're hoping is to create not just an opportunity to see where the air pollution is coming from, but really an opportunity for engagement with people like you and us in terms of what can we do about it? What can we do to assist the businesses to identify opportunities to maybe go cleaner? And here comes the incentive programs that you just heard about, right? So we're trying to connect the dots for them. Next slide. All right, so now I'm going to switch gears, and I'm going to come back and give you another update on CPRG, the Climate Pollution Reduction Grant Program that you have heard about. The next phase in that process is we have submitted our application for these 3 projects totaling $93 million. For those of you that sit on the STA board, when Mr. Busey talks about the 5 projects, the transportation projects that were approved by SACOG, this is one of those 5 projects. Now, technically, as you can see on the list, only 2 of the 3 are related to transportation, but that's fine. We are expecting to hear from EPA in July. So my hope is that next time we meet, because don't forget, we cancel the June board meeting. That was one of the items on consent, so that you can go on recess. My hope is when we come back and see you in July, we can actually tell you that we've been awarded the funds. Many of you will recognize Green Means Go as a project that we have been supported SECO for some time to actually stand up. We want to do more mobility hubs, and proud to say that Yolo County is going to be taking the lead on a very new initiative that we call carbon farming. So the projects are very reflective of the entire region, a combination of urban projects and then the rural component. Next slide. As you heard, we are in a celebratory mood, right? We have a lot to be proud of, and we'll continue to celebrate. I just wanted to emphasize Spare the Air is 30 years in the making, and you just heard about Carl Moyer program. You're going to hear more about it. There's already plans on the way to do something bigger and much more adequate to what the anniversaries really mean. So we just wanted to put this in front of you and ask you to stay tuned. Next slide. And then the last thing, again, a bit of good news. This is quite, the press release is not quite ready yet, but we were okay to share this with you. We have been awarded, along with many other partners, you can see the list of logos, a pretty impressive collection. So this speaks to what Mr. Falcon was talking about in terms of the power of partnerships. I think by now you know that is something that has been a central tenet of the way we approach our work. You can see some of the very recognizable companies that are part of this effort, as well as others that perhaps not so much. It's a collection of industry, public, private, schools, very important component, community actors, very important component. We are particularly proud of this project that we call the Power Hub, and the state just granted $44 million, which is half of the total project. We're particularly proud because this was an idea that was essentially conceived by the Air District and our partners at Caterpillar. And it was literally a discussion over coffee on a napkin, and next thing you know, we got an actual project coming, a leading project that is unique because we're going to try something that hasn't quite been tried before in a sector, the construction equipment sector, that is really difficult to electrify, right? Because these machines, they don't go home and you can plug them in at the end of the day. So again, I just wanted to share that with you. This is another important project, a technology demonstration project. You're going to hear more about it. We will share the press release with you when it's ready. We're almost there. But we just wanted to share that. Next slide. I think this concludes the APCO report. So now if you have any questions.
Director Daniels.
Hi. Well, how will you create the energy in the off-road or whatever it was, energy hub? How are you looking to create that energy?
So one of the partners is SMUD. Obviously, they have a role, but one of the unique technology demonstrations that we want to try out is a solar microgrid with battery storage, so that, to your point, when the sun is shining, we capture the energy, we have a place to put the energy, and then we can use it in one of these equipments when we need it. And the idea of the hub is you will have a central location. Tiker, that is a big client of Caterpillar equipment, the yellow machines, they will have a place where they can be ready, meaning charged. The equipment can be deployed to construction sites as needed. And when they need to be recharged, they have a hub location to come back to.
So just strictly solar at this point?
At this point it is, and it's not going to be sufficient, and that's why SMUD needs to be, is a partner in this, right? Because they need to provide the additional capacity we're likely going to need.
And then any thoughts of transitioning that also to include hydrogen?
Well, we would like to. That's probably the next project.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Baby steps.
Thank you for your consistency, Director Daniels. Is there any other board members have any questions of the APCO at this time? Seeing none, is there any member of the public that would like to comment or have questions at this time? All right, that takes us to our next item, which is board ideas, comments, and AB 1234 reports. Anything from the board? Hearing and seeing none, we now come to public comment for items not on the agenda. Is there any member of the public like to address the board at this time on an item not on the agenda? Yes, of course. Mr. Falcone.
I take advantage of the fact that I'm already here. Good morning again. I want to just also introduce myself as the executive director and artistic director of Teatro Nahual. Teatro Nahual is a social justice Latino-based theater company here in town. And one of the things that is becoming apparent over and over again as we even take a look at things like the current Capital Region Creative Corps with the city of Sacramento is the value of arts and your artists in helping you get your messaging forward to the public in creative ways, so that you can get that buy-in and get that participation. So as an artist myself, as a performance artist, please don't forget the value that we can add to all of the work that you are doing in executing and implementing the plans, the projects, and the advocacy that you are doing. Thank you.
Thank you for what you do, and I would have been disappointed if you didn't take advantage of that opportunity, Mr. Falcone. Any others? Okay, hearing and seeing none, then I believe we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.